Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a wonderful day. My name is Freya, and what I do simply is I create pedestal wives. So, today we're going to talk about why do men shame women. Let me just make sure I have access to the stream, and then we're going to get started. All right. First of all, let's take a look back in history. Evolutionary psychology and biology and science actually have the way of it. They have information that's valuable to women today, but a lot of us are not listening. Do you realize there's something called the sexual economic theory? And that is where women have a valuable resource. It means that men want to sleep with you. Men want to sleep with you. And then wanting to sleep with you, women use that in order to bargain for gifts, validation, attention, marriage. They usually use these things. And currently, that theory is actually being, I would say a lot of people are actually coming against that theory because they're seeing the change of things. They're seeing the modern woman wanting change. She no longer wants to use those things to bargain for or use her valuable resource in order to make sure that she has a better access to more resources and betterment in life. Women are not currently, if I was to go and look at the research and go look at the numbers and the information that's in front of me, I can tell you that women are no longer recognizing or understanding that you have a valuable resource. The valuable resource that you have is you. You are the valuable resource to the point that they are talking about it. Psychologists are talking about it. Biologists are talking about it. Evolutionary psychologists are talking about it. They are talking about the valuable resources that and the power that women hold to the point that since men want to sleep with them, that they can bargain for a better life. They can bargain for gifts, for validation, for attention, and even for marriage. But women do not understand why men shame them, why men shame them on this app, on social media, or sometimes in real life. One of the reasons that men shame women for wanting resources or being a gold digger or requiring better for them is because of the fact that when a man has not earned his place in society, has not created or built his own power, he still wants access to the women that he shouldn't have access to. He still wants to have access to the women who have that gold digger mentality, who require have higher standards and require better uh, things in life in order to have access to them. So he still wants that woman. And the thing is, what happens if a man is denied? See, men are don't have a they're not socialized in order to really meet their emotions head on. And since they're not socialized and meet their emotions head on, what they tend to do, if they're not getting what they desire out of life, what they do is they withdraw or they attack. It's either or. And this, if you want to know this information, y'all, I'll drop it below after this live stream. Because when I talk about these things, I'm literally talking about evolutionary psychology. I'm literally talking about biology. I'm literally talking about science. These are things that women have been well known to be able to use for themselves in order to bargain for a better lifestyle. But we have women who don't want that. So they are out here searching for love, wanting love. And this is giving the men that should not have access to you access. This is giving access to men who should have not ever got received access because they haven't built their own empower. They haven't earned their place in society. They haven't done anything to even pass the rights of manhood. So they haven't done that. So they shouldn't have access to the women who have that mentality. And you all know I did a video about gold digger makes better wives. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? Because I did that and it caused an uproar. A lot of women got offended because they weren't in that category. The gold digger mentality is a mentality for a specific set of women. All women don't have this mentality. Even though I'm doing what I can, doing my part to actually give information to women so that they'll want to actually have that mentality, to get that gold digger percolating in their soul and spirit, because Resources is the name of the game. Resources is the name of the game. If a man can sit around here and shame you for being a gold digger, for wanting resources, for wanting a better lifestyle, and he's able to get access to you when he doesn't deserve access to you, in order for him to do that, the first step is to actually tear you down. Is to make you feel bad or feel shamed because you want resources, you want a better life, and you want to make sure your kids don't have to get it out of the mud. That's the very first step. The second step is to make sure they get around in groups. They get around in groups, and together, voices together more than one is actually louder than just one person. So they get together in groups and they get these ideals about, oh, love should conquer all. Love should give me access to these type of women. And let me ask you a question. Have y'all ever thought about if love is so important, why don't they follow and shame the women who are on board for that? Why don't they tag along for those type of women? Why bother with the women who have a gold digger mentality when they are not even the target? Why do they do that? Because they still want access to those women who have that gold digger mentality. And honestly, I'm going to say it again. Gold diggers make better wives. They're never going to say this. They're never going to admit it. They're never going to tell you. They might whisper it in your dream. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you, they're never going to really say it. That's the reason why they're still trying to shame women and to change their mentality and change their mind. And they want women to actually start getting this whole mantra of love only. And that's what you're supposed to be searching for. That is what's going to help and, help families thrive. It is because it's really obvious, right? That why would you want to deal with the women who have a gold digger mentality? Why would you even come in spaces and shame them for the things they require in order to have access to them? Why? Because like I said before, if you didn't watch that video about gold diggers make better wives, you'll have an understanding of why they are trying to pursue those specific type of women, because they know that their standards are unmet. Having a woman on your arm that has a certain standard also ensures that your children will have these standards. And trust and believe, men want their children to have those type of standards that gold diggers have. They want their children to have access to the culture that the women have already cultivated. Because see, women set the culture within the relationship. And that is the very reason why they want access but can't get access. And that is the reason why they shame and try to make you feel bad. Think about it like this. If you are a woman who feel shame for having a gold digger spirit, feel shame for wanting resources or wanting a better lifestyle, you will put yourself on the market and put yourself at a discount rate. They will be able to have access to you at a discounted rate, and they won't have to pay the full price. They won't have to make sure they have resources. They won't have to make sure they can give you a lifestyle. They won't have to make sure that your children have a better, have options and access to resources. They won't have to do any of those things, and they can get all of the things that make gold diggers better wives. Yes, that's triggering. A lot of women don't like when I say that, but there's a very good reason why men still try to, even the men who are poor and in poverty, haven't built anything, haven't achieved anything, haven't earned their place in society, they still pursue gold diggers. And that is because of the standards. That is because of the culture that gold diggers cultivate. That is because when you get a gold digger, you're going to have to live up to a different type of lifestyle, a different type of way of living, and they know this. Yes, they may sit here in these comments, they may chase you all over social media and tell you it's wrong to want resources, it's wrong to desire more in life. But let me tell you this, baby. For everyone that's out here writing these comments, they're all in the DMs of a gold digger. They're all in the DMs, the emails, trying to entice that gold digger to their side of things, trying to get that gold digger to bring her ideals, bring her standards, bring her culture, bring who she is over to their side in order to have access to that, but they don't want to pay for it. So if they continue to shame you on social media and shame you in person for the requirements that you have for yourself, and they want you to put yourself on discount. They want you to feel shame because you made a mistake in your past. They want you to feel shame because you had a baby. They want you to feel shame because you're older. They want you to feel shame because you have made some things that are not desirable for you. But always bring it back. I want you to always bring it back for yourselves and realize that even if you made a mistake, maybe you made some type of mistake and you're still dealing with it, or you're still working through it currently, right now, at this moment. Remember sexual economic theory. Remember that you have something that is valuable to the point that there's an entire science, an entire study surrounding it, where women are considered to be a valuable resource and they are in demand. And since you are in demand, you can set your price. You can decide you don't have access to me unless you do this, this, and this, and this. This is the reason why I tell you ladies to always withhold sex. Do not sleep with him. Do not give him cheeks. Do not do anything with them. Even withhold, like, don't even kiss. Don't even kiss. Don't kiss. Don't touch. Keep a hands-off mentality, because you have to remember you are a valuable resource. And since you are in demand, you can set the price. Never put yourself on discount and expect to be given more. If you put yourself on discount, no one is going to go to the discount shelf. If they paid $1 and it's on sale for $1, they're not going to pay more for $1. They're not going to say, hey, you know what? I want to add an extra $1 to that and get that for more. They're going to pay the price for that item. They're going to pay whatever your average, whatever you're saying your price is, whatever you're saying your standards are, whatever you're saying your requirements are, they're going to pay that because you are a valuable resource. There's literally an entire science surrounding women, the supply and demand of us. But you all are out here acting like y'all are at the Dollar Tree. Y'all are here at the Dollar Tree, giving it away for free, giving away everything that makes you unique. You're giving it away for free. You're not bargaining with the resource that you have. You're not bargaining and making sure you get the best price, getting the best access to the resources you can possibly get. And this, my friends, this ladies and gentlemen, because some gentlemen do watch me, this is the issue. We have to stop allowing ourselves to be put on the discount bargain. We have to stop trying to allow a man to pay $1 for us and then think he's going to decide to pay more because we have a great personality. We have a great attitude. We don't have any children. Oh, we're making money. We have an education. Oh, we're good in bed. Stop thinking he's going to pay more than what you require, because that's not the way anything works. If you were to actually, like I said, Google sexual economic theory, and you will realize there are entire studies surrounding the supply and demand of women. If science can say that women are a valuable resource, why haven't you figured out you are a valuable resource? Why haven't you figured out that you can really bargain and get the lifestyle, get the resources, get access to a social status that you did not have prior because of the fact that who you are? You were born as a woman. You were born as, in my opinion, the best gender ever. You were born a woman, so you were born valuable. You were born worthy. You can set your price. It's unfortunate that we have women that's really trying to make sure that men don't have access to the information. They really want this theory gone. I'm gonna tell you this right now. They really want the theory gone. They're fighting against it currently right now as I speak. There's new studies coming up. They're trying to say that men get to determine the supply and demand, not women. And that has never been true. If you were to look at evolutionary psychology, women have always been able to require and bargain with the valuable resource that they are. They always have been able to say, hey, you don't get to sleep with me unless I have a ring on my finger. You don't get to have children with me unless I have a ring on my finger. And for now, I have to actually say ring and papers. I literally have to be that clear when I have these type of conversations, because people are getting the rings, but you're not getting the papers. So we have to get rings and papers, and in order to be able to use the sexual economic theory, and we should have been using it. There's, like I said, there's an entire science surrounding it, how women are able to improve their life by bargaining with their natural and valuable resources that they were born with. So why aren't you? Why aren't you? Because guess what I'm going to explain to you. No matter if you decide never to not be a gold digger because you figure or feel like that's not the right path for you, you want to be in love, you feel like that's the perfect path for you. Let me explain something to you. I want to make sure I always be very clear about statistics. Modern marriages last no further than 5 to 7 years. And that is in a marriage normally where it's 50-50, where everybody's inputting financially. Usually traditional marriages, they last and they have longevity. Also, the traditional marriages that I'm referring to is where the man is the provider and the woman normally is a stay-at-home mom. or stay-at-home business woman, whatever she determines or decides she wants to do. Normally she's in the home. There's been some research about them being the happiest and having the longest in relationship. That is science. That is statistics. We need to start looking at the numbers. Like I said before, and in yesterday's live stream, when I just did an impromptu live stream on Instagram, that social media is a facade. Everybody's happy, everybody's successful, everybody's doing the darn thing. But when I look at the numbers, I can see that people are not telling the truth. The average income is like $35,000 a year. So if everybody's winning, everybody's wealthy, everybody's married well, then why are those numbers 35,000 a year? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. This is the reason why this is our time. Our time, and if you have not really thought about yourself being a valuable resource, go and look up the sexual economic theory, so you will have an understanding how scientists are literally sitting down and thinking about thinking women up and as a valuable resource. And they talk about the supply and demand. And they also talk about the fact, guess what? There's never ending demand. There's a never ending demand. Women will always be a valuable resource. And also, I don't sit up here and talk about things that I know for facts that can never come true. This page, I've never said that my page was dedicated only for women to marry wealthy men. I know for facts all women are not going to marry wealthy men. Some women will marry wealthy men. Some women will marry upper middle class. Some women will marry middle class. And hopefully, if you're a follower of my page, you don't go any further. You don't go any below that. Why? Let me explain why women should not go below the 35,000. And see, that's pushing it in the inflation that we currently have right now. But, I can only persuade or have conversations with people who, if you don't understand or realize that you're a valuable resource, sometimes this stuff is hard to swallow or hard to, wrap your head around, because some of us are just coming to this content and information now. They're just learning about it. No, there was no one to teach them. For them to have an understanding of the cost of living, have an understanding for them to look at statistics and information. Do not get your information for social media. If you all just get your information for social media, you're going to be all the way screwed up. Even the information I give on my page, please go and fact check me. Go ahead. I don't mind it, because I know when you fact check me, you're going to find the information that I find, and it's going to help you along the way. And it may open your minds and for you to see yourself as a valuable resource. Women need to get back to the point where we did see ourselves as valuable resources, and when we saw our daughters as valuable resources. And since we saw ourselves as a valuable resources, we would never put ourselves on the discount market. We would never sell ourselves short. We would never allow a man to shame us because we had a baby. We would never allow a man to shame us because we're older. We never allow a man to shame us because we're educated. We wouldn't allow that type of shame in the first place, because we understand that we're a valuable resource. We will understand that there's an entire science surrounding us, and they're still studying us to see how women use those valuable resources. Yes, all women are not using it and will not use it. There are going to be some stubborn women out here who decide, I just want to go for love. No matter what the numbers say, no matter what the statistics say, no matter what the information we give. All right, go with God. There's nothing I can say to change your mind. You want to go out here and try, baby, go with God and try. But we'll be here when you get back. We'll be here when you realize that this way, it may be unorthodox. It may not be something that majority of people are doing, but this is the way of hypergamy. This is the way for the pedestal wives. This is the way for this community, for us to stop searching for love and start searching for resources, to start looking at ourselves as though we're a valuable resource. And we're not going to allow men to shame us because we are. Because one thing about resources, the supply and demand is always going to be there. And trust and believe, men are always going to be demanding of women in some form or fashion. They're always going to be demanding and looking and trying to acquire and trying to get the attention of a woman. Because what do they want? They want your body. They want to sleep with you. They want to get those cheeks. They want those things for you. And the way for some of the men who don't qualify is for them to use shame, for them to get together and say you don't qualify. Even though when I go and look at statistics, that's not so. That's not so. You always have the ability to demand more. Remember, your resource, your product. And if you thought of yourself like that, that you can just demand and, state your price and bargain for what you want, and within a relationship, you would never accept anything least or less. You would never accept anything but the best for yourself. If you actually thought of yourself as a valuable resource and that you're always going to be in demand. And trust and believe, you're always going to be in demand. There's always going to be a man that wants to sleep with you. And for him wanting to sleep with you, you can use his desire against him and bargain for the best deal. This is the reason why you don't sleep with him. You don't give him the cheeks. You don't give him any sugar. You don't give him any of those things. That is your bargaining tool. You think of that as your valuable resource and sit down. And one of the things also that I found very interesting, y'all, and I think everyone should know this. Do y'all realize that when it comes to abuse, the lower, the least money that a man makes, the more likely that the relationship will have abuse in it. It is 57% of abuse comes from income from less than $25,000. Okay, 11% come from $75,000. And I know people like to say the wealthy hide their abuse. No, let me explain to you how it works, because some of you have not been around wealthy women, so you don't know how it works. Okay, if there's abuse within a relationship and they are wealthy and she is wealthy, she has resources. So what she does, she normally checks into a hotel. She normally uses her resources and goes back to her family. And that is how she handles it. She doesn't necessarily report the abuse, and I think she should. I think wealthy women that are being abused, they should report it. But even if they report it, it would only be around 15%. It would only be around 15% of abuse around wealthy, because wealthy people have something to lose. That's the one reason why she doesn't report him. Even though she does leave him, she just goes to a hotel. She just goes back to her family. She just depends on her own resources. See, the misconception is that when a woman marries a wealthy person, a wealthy man, that she's going to be left in the cold if he leaves her. But we're smarter than that. Like I keep telling you all, there's something called new hypergamy, where we're making sure we build our wealth off the back of a man. So we're never broke, baby. We can always walk out anytime. We always make sure we have walking power. We always make sure we have resources, and we can leave at any time. So we don't have to settle for abuse. That is a myth. And the research doesn't even back any of this up, but it does help men who want to shame you and for you to actually put yourself on that discount mark. It gives them access to you, because some of you are scared of getting in a relationship where you don't have any power and you're going to be abused and you can't walk out. But let me explain something to you. That is not how it's done. And that's not how wealthy women do it anyway. They always make sure they have resources so that they can walk away. There's something called walking power, and he knows she has walking power. She knows she has access to money. She knows she has access to power, access to friends, access to connections that's going to help her be able to leave him behind. Even if he's not affected by his career or his business because he's been abusive, believe me and trust me, wealthy women walk away when there's abuse. They may not report it, but they do walk away. And it's not as high as you all like to create in your mind. And that is what men are able to weaponize that. They're able to weaponize it. They're able to shame you and able to, in order to force you, well, not force, push you into deciding, I don't want that, I'm going to settle for less. When it is actually men that are in lower, well, I hate saying lower, like lower class or something like that. Well, men who make less, they're the ones that are most abusive. They're the ones that are frustrated, overwhelmed, and they tend to take that out on their wife and their children. All right, so let's see what everybody is saying. Welcome, Pedestals. Hey, ladies, how are you doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day. I know Google exists, but where do you get your research? I Google fatherhood and science. One of the things you can do is just Google Google sexual economic theory. All right. You can also, there's also another book called When Men Behave Badly. It is created by Bus DM, And it talks about the evolutionary psychology. It talks about what it's going to take for men to go backwards, because we're not the only ones noticing the issue. Scientists are noticing the issue. Biologists are noticing the issue. These scientists are noticing an issue. They feel like we're devolving instead of going forward. And see, we like to go forward. We like to learn. We like to do better. And so they are noticing this, and they're trying to figure out, what is it going to take? What is happening? Why do they feel like we're devolving in relationships? Why are we have a high rate for divorce? Divorce, when I checked, what was it, around 50%, and still rising in divorce? And they can't figure it out. So they're going backwards. They're talking about evolutionary psychology. They're talking about biology. They're talking about science. And I think we need to, because evolutionary psychology, a man would never get access to a woman just because he shamed her, just because he made her feel bad about herself, just because he made her feel like she didn't have any options. He still would never got access to her. He would have had to have resources. He would have had to be building or have some type of social status in order to get access to the type of women that were here prior. And we can still bring that back, but we have to actually do our research and have an understanding of these things. Please drop it after the live stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. I sure will. I love the video about the gold digger mentality. Now that was love. Some of these men want mother lies. Absolutely. That's the thing about it. Y'all don't understand. No matter how much I've been called a gold digger in my life, still the very ones that are the ones that shout gold digger or shout or try to call names or try to shame, they're the very ones that be in the DM, baby. They're the very ones that be in the emails. They're the very ones that be following me on for every social media site. Why are they doing that? Shouldn't I not be the target for them? Shouldn't they be out here trying to get with women who see the life the same way they see the life? But you know why they don't want those women? Let me explain why they don't want those women. They don't want those women because there's a certain type of standards, mentality, and culture that I'm going to be able to bring as a gold digger to a relationship versus another woman who sees life in the same way he does. See, and they understand this. They want that, but they want it for free. They want access to it for free. They don't want to have to pay the price. They don't want to have to pay to be the boss. They don't want to have to do any of those things. So they will end up with a woman who wants that 50-50 lifestyle, who doesn't have the same ideals as a gold digger. They'll end up with her, but they'll still give their money to the gold digger. They'll still give their money to that woman who has those high standards. They'll still give they'll still give everything to that woman who has the culture that they want to cultivate within their own children, but they married a woman who had opposite views. And some women really truly do think they're doing something. You're not. You're not. The very men that have the loudest voices be the main ones be trying to get into the DM of a gold digger. Be trying to give them money, likes, and anything they can possibly get to get their attention. And another way to prove this, y'all, let me explain to you. I saw something that was very interesting. Let me bring this up here. Y'all know normally I don't bring up content creators. I tend to stay away from that. But men, they're fair game, right? They're fair game. I'll talk about male content creators on my platform. How about this? Have y'all saw that dude? I don't remember his name. If someone knows it, put it in the chat because I want to know his name. But I saw a little clip where a young lady sent me where a dude from the Fish and Fresh platform, he was dating a gold digger. He was sitting here dating a woman that was on seeking arrangements. So if his ideas of 50-50 and she got to come with something, she had to bring value, she had to work in order to be a part of this relationship. Why is he giving her that gold digger time? Let me explain to you. Gold diggers make better wives. They understand this. Just because they're not agreeing it, just because they're not all on social media shouting from the rooftops, you're not going to get that. The men who understand, they understand, and this is going to marry that type of woman. Also, they know that gold diggers have certain standards. See, they have certain standards, so they know you're not gonna be able to easily get access to her. And see, one thing about men always want to get with a woman that he knows for a fact that she is not going to give access to herself very easily. And when you have a gold digger on your arm, it's not likely that a man is not going to be able to get that access without doing specific things. But when you're dealing with a woman who has a 50-50 mentality and she wants to give and help and build the finances, he knows access is easy. It doesn't take much. This is one of the reasons why men are always going to continually chase gold diggers, even though they claim they don't like the mentality, they don't like our ideals, they don't like we want access to the resources. I can tell you, facts on facts, even men who said or told me they didn't like the fact that I want access to resources or they called me a gold digger, that did not keep them from pursuing or chasing me. Didn't keep them from that. And I'm quite sure some of the pedestal wives can co-sign what I'm saying. They'd be the very one saying, no, she's a gold digger. Don't be around her. And then he's the one that's funding her lifestyle. I've seen it all. He's the one funding her lifestyle, but he's the very one online telling other men, don't date a gold digger, don't marry a gold digger. But he's funding a gold digger's life. Like, I've seen this in real life. I love talking about stuff. I wish that I had if these people weren't alive, y'all, I would go and tell you some stories about men who will sit here and marry a 50-50 chick, but fund a gold digger's life. A pedestal wife said, first they charm you with words and quick or cheap dates, and then they shame you, then they ghost you, and then if they come back to try again, they respect you and work for you if he wants you bad enough. Absolutely. They try shame first, though. And you can see that it is working for women. Women don't realize that they're a valuable resource. They don't realize the entire science is surrounding the supply and demand of women and what women require. They're literally looking at evolutionary psychology and trying to determine, okay, women want resources and men want looks. And they're trying to determine what has changed because they want to. Y'all don't realize there's been a big push for scientists to figure out why people are divorcing. That is a big thing. Another big thing that I see that's in the scientific community is the birth rates. The birth rates are going down. They're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get women to have more babies? So this is the reason why y'all see all these extra things happening in the news. You know, Texas, for one, because they're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get women to have babies? The thing is, I don't have to be a scientist to tell you or to figure it out for them. All I need to be is, let me get in the room with scientists. I'll tell them why women are not having babies. I'll explain to them men need resources. That is why. Some women recognize it is easier to work and be by yourself than to get into a relationship where you have to actually struggle with another person. It is better to just take care of yourself and worry about yourself and don't bring another person in additional to your struggle. That is currently what's going on. But of course, scientists have to go all the way around the bend in order to figure out. To me, it seems like a very simple solution. A simple solution is for men to increase their resources. Men increase their resources, give women the opportunity to rest in their femininity, give women an opportunity to just be and not have to have so many responsibilities on them. Guess what? Women will start popping out babies because they're happy and content and satisfied. They have resources. They can thrive. You cannot thrive if you don't have resources. It's just like telling women to have more babies, but you can't eat. Have more babies, but you can't live. Have more babies, but you don't have provisions. That is what they're telling us, and it's not going to fly. Like I said, I'm not a scientist. I just solved a problem that they're sitting here grappling with when I can see it. I talk to women daily, and that is the issue. Women are literally deciding not to have more babies, not to get married, if it means that they're going to have to struggle doing so, which is actually smart. And I'm the one who promotes marriage. I am a woman who promotes marriage in order to better your life. I promote marriage, but why get married if you're going to struggle? Don't get married. You can struggle by yourself. It only takes one person to struggle. You don't have to add kids. You don't have to add families. You don't have to add dogs, animals, or anything of that nature. Struggle by yourself. They need to call me. I can help them out. The scientific community don't need to grapple with these questions when I can answer the question just straight off gate. Women aren't having babies. They're not trying to get married when they realize that they're not going to get the resources they require. If they're not getting the resources they require, there's no use of having babies or getting married. And I agree with them. That's why I said I am proud and confident in what I want, and you should be too. You can't be ashamed if you're confident, proud, and overt or covert about what kind of men you entertain. Forget the Dusties and the Bonnets. Forget them. Forget them. Like I said before, and that's another reason why they want the gold diggers. They want the gold diggers, but gold diggers do have a certain type of standard. Gold diggers have a standard about how they look, how they carry themselves, how they speak, where, who they interact with. They have a multitude of standards that these men want for their children. And that is one of the reasons why gold diggers will always be pursued. Even men who don't qualify for a gold digger will always pursue a gold digger. I can tell you from experience, there are still some men that will reach out to me and ask me, am I happy? Okay. Why? Because even though at the time they didn't want to pay my price, they recognize what I am. Rings and papers. That's why I said, you said, do not kiss, do not touch. Please tell us how to use body language, our words, and whatever else to entice and engineer the chase. See, you know what? I'm going to actually do a video on that. I don't want to answer that question, not because I don't want to right here. I've actually decided, since I had more than one comment on different videos that talked about seduction and talked about how that the men weren't okay with the seduction they were doing. So I'm literally going to do a video about how to use body language and words to entice and engineer him to pursue or chase you. So that video is coming. I found the book When Men Behave on Audible. Thanks. You're welcome. I would like to find information on Eastern marriages. Absolutely. Of course, I would like to find information on Eastern marriages. I follow a lot of people who talk about Eastern marriages. They're more successful. When you go do the research on their marriages are lasting. That is because their marriages are more traditional. Do you all realize that every group of women is expected to experience abuse, especially when she doesn't marry well? But guess what race of woman doesn't experience, or there's like a low percentage of abuse? Asian women. And why is that? I got to do some more research. And that may be because a lot of the Asian women, they tend to have more traditional ideals. They tend to have more traditional thinking, and they still are. Asian women are gold diggers too. Just by the way, if most of you all don't know, they are mostly gold diggers. They don't get into marriages because of love. They get into marriages because of resources and alliances with family. That is what they do. They don't do it or handle it in the way that the Western handles it. And it's very interesting. I've been doing a lot of looking to see how and why their marriages are thriving when Western marriages are not. They're dying. It's actually becoming a dying art to get married in the West because of the fact the traditionalism is not there anymore. Women don't have that gold digger mentality that they need. They're not making sure they have access to resources for their children anymore. And a lot of the marriages are just unhappy. They're unhappy. The polarity isn't there also. That's another thing. Okay, bro, how can we differentiate oneself from the rest of other women so men can see value in us? Y'all know I did a video about the value in women or something. I don't remember what the name of it. If anyone remembers what the name of that video, I talked about how women can create value in themselves and increase your value. That's the name of that video. I suggest you go and watch that video. Even though I think some people think that just because you have a gold digger mentality doesn't mean you're not traditional. I have a gold digger mentality, but I am still traditional. I still believe in a man being the leader of the household and me being a smart dependent. So I still have a lot of traditional ideals and values. That is what's going to differentiate you from other women. Even when I have these conversations online and on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should be following me on Instagram. I really do put out some information there that you're going to need. There's a lot of conversations, and it usually ends up or looks like a modern marriage. See, what I am finding when I go on Instagram, when I have these conversations, I post these videos and we have these discussions, most women want the traditionalism in a man, but they want to be a modern woman. And see, these two don't mix well. I've said before, and I'm going to say it again. Let's stop mixing traditional values and modern values and believing it's going to work. And if it does, you are the exception. You are the exception. So just because I tell women to be gold diggers, to realize that they are valuable resources, I am still telling women to be more traditional. Because I know that's what's going to differentiate you from other women. I feel like most men are looking for the Instagram model type of woman. I would actually disagree with that. I would disagree with that. There would be women who are married to very wealthy men who do not have the best of looks. If you were to Google the wives of millionaires, go and let me go ahead and bless your heart. Google the wives of millionaires, and you will see that a lot of those women are not good looking. And let me explain something to you. A lot of the good women, looking women, they don't have the mentality that's going to be needed to make sure that relationship thrives. So he usually ends up with the woman who isn't good looking. So do not think that you having great looks is going to be the determiner if you actually get with a man who is a millionaire or a man who has means or a man who has resources. Because I can tell you from experience, in real life experience, a lot of times these men do not have the best looking wives on their arms. What's going on in Texas now? Yeah. I don't know if YouTube would censor me if I said that word, but what she said below, that is what's going on right now. And that all streams from the fact that birth rates are very low. And they want you to be popping out babies. The thing is, a lot of women, the millennial women, have learned we can't pop out babies without resources. And like I said, I can solve the problem. All I need to do is have a few minutes, or maybe longer than a few minutes, maybe a whole conversation with the scientific community, and I can help them crack that code. And I help them realize that women are deciding, I would prefer to be single and be by myself if I have to do any type of struggle. I listened to Mina. She has a YouTube channel. She's Pakistani. She was putting the information out there. I listened to her. Well, I did listen to her. I love the fact she talks about evolution and psychology and biology. All of that information is valuable. I love that about her channel. I love the fact that she's starting to talk about Eastern values and how marriages are, have longevity. So her channel is the Universe Guru. It's a very good channel. It's Mina Efron. I like her channel. I usually don't follow too many other content creators. I don't even follow Mina, but I love some of her content. Some content I love, some content I'm a little shaky on, because I really truly do believe in men having resources. I do believe that there has to be some financial requirements when you get in a relationship. You can't just get in relationships and just hope for the best or pray for the best. So that is one of the things. That's the only thing that kind of makes me go, well, her content. Other than that, her content is awesome. She really does talk about evolutionary psychology, biology, and statistics. And I want women to start looking at it for themselves. You need to start looking at information for yourself, so that when you are shamed, when a man tries to shame you for wanting the things you want, or because you want access to resources, or because you want him to have something for himself, and he's shaming you, be able to look at those numbers. Look at that information. Look at the fact that the average man is literally making $35,000 a year, and realize that y'all look at the cost of living. Look at where you live at currently. Look at how much it takes to live in the area that you're currently living in, and what does it take to thrive in the area you're currently living in? Because honestly, there's a difference. There's a difference between living and thriving. I can live all day. I can make sure all my bills are paid. I have a roof over my head. I can eat. I'm living. But thriving is where I can go on vacations, where I can decide how my time is used. I can go out here and purchase the things that I desire, or the things that I want, and don't just have to wait on a sale. Are you thriving, or are you living? There's a very big difference in those two statements there. And we cannot allow men to shame us. Men will shame you. They will make you feel bad. They may even call you out of your name. They may be even trying to use numbers or twist numbers to make you feel like that you don't have any options. They're going to shame you. They're going to try, but I want you to realize that you're a valuable resource. I want you to realize that literally they have a sexual economic theory that was created so that they can study the supply and demand of women. That women are considered to be a valuable resource that you can bargain yourself in order to have access to resources, to get a better lifestyle, to marry better, and to marry it in a manner that you want to be married in. You can bargain with yourself. You can make sure that you get the things that you desire. Do not sell yourself short. This is currently what's happening. A lot of women are selling themselves short. They're listening to people on social media. They haven't looked beyond social media and looked at the numbers or looked at statistics or looked at themselves being a resource. So they consider, oh, well, this is all I can get. And they put themselves on a discount shelf and think that someone's going to pay more for them. Baby, if you put something on the shelf for $1, I'm paying $1 plus tax. I'm not going to decide, oh, I want to pay $1.50. Oh, no, this is worth $2. No, let me pay $10 for this because it's worth that. I'm not going to give you a tip. I'm not going to pay more than what you're requiring of me. And that is human nature. And that is what we have to realize. When you set the price, you are the resource. You can bargain and set the price in the manner that you want to be paid for, what you desire or what you want to have access to yourself. Looks aren't enough, LOL. Absolutely. Y'all, do y'all know how many beautiful women that I know they're in trash relationships? Do y'all know how many beautiful women, when I go on social media, I look at, well, I don't go up there often, but when I go on social media, I look at some of my classmates and I realize, oh, they're so beautiful. And they still look beautiful. They still look gorgeous. They're still a valuable resource, but they have connected themselves to men who you can tell that they definitely put themselves in the bargain basement with that man. So having good looks do not mean that you're going to get access or marry well. It means that you have to have the understanding that you are the resource. You have to understand how to vet, how to test, how to question. You have to understand what are your values, what are your morals, what are you willing to take and bargain for your beauty. What are you willing to take for the exchange of your beauty and your access to your womb? What are you willing to take for that? Some of you are taking less than. Some of you are taking less than, and it shows. And then sometimes I go on social media and I be looking at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, if they would have picked better, they'd have had access to resources. And do you all know that you can really tell a difference of a woman who has the resources to take care of herself versus a woman who's overworked and overwhelmed, a woman who doesn't have time to really do that self-care? You can tell the difference. It's all in the eyes. It's in the way she carries herself. It's even in her skin, how her skin glows, or if she's having trouble with her skin. You can kind of tell the woman who has the time to go to the spa or the time to get the treatments or the time and the resources to do these things. You can even tell when you're around that woman, how she speaks. And if she's moving fast, is she trying to run everywhere she goes, or is she walking slow, she driving slow, because she got all day. Like, literally, don't get behind me, y'all. Don't get behind me. I drive slow because I don't have anywhere to be. I can take my time getting there. I don't have to risk my life. I don't have to risk my limb. I don't have to risk my children to get there. So you don't want to be behind me because I got time. Bro, would you answer my previous question? Which one is that? What previous question? Is it the one about how you differentiate yourself from other women? Traditional values. That is how you can differentiate yourself from other women. A lot of women will dispute, cry out, talk against having traditional values because they don't think it's in. They want to change the rules. They feel like, oh, well, I want to do other things. What I'm seeing is women want to be the boss. They want to control. They want to be in charge, but then they also want a traditional man. And I can tell you those two things do not work well together. They actually repel each other. And that is what can differentiate yourself from other women, because women really do have that mentality. If you were to go to my Instagram page and go through the comments, y'all know, Pedestal wives, y'all know how much I love comments, right? I usually do read most of my comments on Instagram, and I can always tell where a woman's mindset is. And usually it is, they want to work hard, they want to make a lot of money, and they want to make money off of him, but they want him to be more like a traditional male. And I can tell you, men are telling you all that that is not going to fly. They don't want that, but women aren't listening. I'm going to tell you here now, even if I have a gold digger mentality, even if I believe that gold diggers are better wives, I still have a traditional mentality. So I'm always going to be a valuable resource. And you are too. And I did a video on that already too. So if you want to go back and watch that video, it says, ladies, increase your value. That is the title of the video that's going to give you all the information you need in order to differentiate yourself from other women. Okay, I'm trying to refresh. Give me a second, y'all. Y'all know this is slow. I'm a minute behind everybody else. Any man who says make your own money in opposition to you wanting a provider is a little boy who doesn't understand that his worth lies in what he can produce and provide. Ignore him. Absolutely. But that is how pedestal wife, wouldn't you agree? That is how men are getting access to women who they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have access to that woman. That woman was on a different tier. She was top tier. She was basically champagne. He should have got wine. He should have got wine, but he ended up with champagne because he made her feel bad and shamed her for her choices. And that is currently what's happening. About rotational dating, go 4 comments up. It's a new question. I don't see it. Eastern Americas. It's about rotational dating. I don't see anything about rotational dating. I don't see anything about rotational dating. But still working on your resources or leveling up. Absolutely. I'm not against you working on your resources, but you need to make sure that your resources, well, I ain't going to say that. I'm not going to say that because I want you to still work on your resources. I still want you to have your resources, and I want you to level up. But I don't want you, the thing is, these men that you all and most women want, these men have a traditional mindset, which means they want you to put the family before the business. They want you to put the family before the other things. And that is the things that is the piece that a lot of women are missing. They don't want you not to work, but they don't want you to put your work before the family. They don't want you to put that promotion before your kids. They don't want you to put all these other things before the family. They want you to make sure the family is before everything else. And that is the thing a lot of women don't have an understanding of. You think they don't want you to work. That is not the case. A lot of traditional men don't mind if you want to work. You can work. They just don't want you to put your work before the family. They don't want you to put that promotion before the family. They don't want you to put that business before the family. And see, that is that is the mentality that women need to program themselves to have. This will differentiate you from other women. Because if I was to go to Instagram, I realized that women are not willing to put their business, they're not willing to put those things last. They want the business first. They want the promotion first. They want all of those things first before the family. They're willing to sacrifice their family in order to have it. And that becomes the problem and becomes the issue that women don't understand. So you can be a gold digger. You can want resources. A man will wife up a gold digger first before he'll wife up a woman, especially these traditional type of men, these conservative type of men, these men who put family first. They'll wife a woman up first who sees family before all of those other things. Even if she has a gold digger mentality, even if she requires resources, they'll pay the price because they understand that women are losing that ideal. Women don't have that mentality anymore. And you can see that when you go on social media. I see it all the time. I have a business. I have a degree. I have all these things. But I would never put those things before my family. My family comes first. And that mentality is the reason why a man will pay the cost in order to give me what I desire. Because that mentality is a dying mentality among women. Yeah, you have to retype it because I don't see it. I really don't see. If I saw it, I would answer it. Because I actually have a video on rotational dating also. Yeah, I don't have it. I'm not sure why I don't have it. Really, I have met multiple men in my rotational dating. We have discussed marriage with some of them, but they say that they would like me to continue working, what to do, what to tell them. All right. So I would push that man back to the bottom of rotation. And if he's not giving anything of value, I would go ahead and push him out my rotation, period. Because he's not giving you option. The thing is, it's not about you all working or not working. Let's take that off the table. What it is about is you having options. That is the thing that women don't understand anymore. You need to have options. You need to be able to decide if you work or if you don't. You need to be able to decide, should I have a business or should I not? You should not have to do these things in order to bring income in or help the finances or build an empire. Options is the name of the game. Having resources is the name of the game. Being able to make decisions for yourself is the name of the game. Having your time or reclaiming your time is the name of the game. Because I can go to work too. I have a business also. I've been to work before, but it was all a choice. It was an option. I chose to go to work. I decided I wanted to go work. I wasn't forced to because we couldn't pay the bills. I wasn't forced to because we didn't have any money. I wasn't forced to because we didn't have the things that my kids needed. I decided to go because I wanted to give back to the community. I thought that was the best way for me to give back to the community was to go back. That's the reason I have a teaching degree. But if they are not, if the only thing they're giving you is that you have to work, push them out your rotation if they're not bringing anything of value. What are they giving to you? Why are they in your rotation? That is my very first question. Where do you live? Contributes especially the way you carry yourself. Yes, I have my professional career and successful, but I feel they see me as if I have everything put together that I don't need to be provided for. I'm a traditional minded when it comes to family. Okay, are you leading with that? Are you leading with your success? Are you leading with your education? Are you leading with that? Because if you lead with that, you're going to attract men who want to use you for that. They're going to see an easy target and they're going to decide, okay, well, she wants the same thing that I want. Because that is the very first thing that I realized, or I can tell that a woman wants is going 50-50 is how she's always bragging about her success and her money. Are you leading with your success, your money, your career? And then that is the reason why you have men in your rotation who don't want to give you an option other than working. I can't remember the video where I talked about the fact that most women should not lead with your career, your education, because of the fact that if you aim to be a worker, you will be a worker. And men recognize that. So even if you have a great career, you're professional, you don't lead with that. You don't always sit here talk about as though you're great at it either. See, workers will be workers. So you won't sit here and constantly say, oh, well, I got this new promotion. I'm doing very well at this corporation. Baby, even if you want to tell him that you're actually at this corporation, even though I don't really suggest it, especially if you're really far up the career ladder, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't let him find out. That would be the number one thing that I would lead with. I wouldn't let him know right away that he's dealing with an attorney or a doctor or someone who has high income. He would find that out over time after he is looking at me and I built my feminine image. Once I build my feminine image, it doesn't matter how much money I make or what kind of career I am or what professional I am. Because he's always going to view me as a woman who needs to be taken care of, a woman who needs to be provided for, a woman who needs to be coddled and covered. See, that is the thing. Y'all don't build your feminine image first before you start letting him into your real life. You don't let him in until you build that feminine image. And there's a whole nother video that talks about building a feminine image. You want him to always see you as the woman who needs to be taken care of, provided for, and coddled. So this means he doesn't see you as a worker. He doesn't see you as a woman who is good at her job or who works well or who is making a lot of money. Even if he finds out later on that you're making a lot of money, that you're so far up your career track and you're some big person in that field, he is still not going to ignore it. You know why? Because the image of you has already been created. And he already sees you as someone who needs to be taken care of. So he wouldn't care if you're the lawyer, you're the doctor, you're the judge, you're a surgeon. It wouldn't matter. Y'all understand, build that feminine image first, then allow him into your real life. There's an entire video on my page about building a feminine image. It tells you how to do so. I have a question further up about motherhood. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing. Okay. If a woman already has a child, died, that lessen her values in a man's eyes, or does it contribute to the idea that she will be a great mom to his kids or the ones they make together? That's sad to hear that you had a child die, but you don't have to have a conversation with him about that child. He doesn't have to know that you had a child die. Remember, let's create that feminine image before we let a man know in, and then, and since this child is not alive, like I said, I apologize, I'm sorry for your loss, then he is not going to determine where a man sees you differently in the first place, because that child is not alive. Now, I would say you could do something else, but this is probably not the time or place to talk about how you can use that emotion in order to actually get the things that you want out of a guy. But he's not gonna look down upon you just because of the fact that you had a baby pass. But you can use the emotion of it to slow him down in a relationship. You can use the emotion of a child passing to slow a man down for wanting to sleep with you or wanting to ask more of you in the relationship. I did a video. What was the video called when I talked about how you need to make sure your emotions are paying dividends? What has your emotions done for you lately? I have a video that's going to be coming up when I talk about that. When I talk about how your emotions working for you all or against you all? Because I got a feeling for some of these comments, I think some of y'all's emotions is working against you all, and we need to learn how to use our emotions properly. Pedestal, I know it's a bad sign if he asks, but if a man asks what you do for a living, what would you recommend to say? If you remember Pedestal, we had some conversations about that. You can always say you're a domestic engineer. You can always say, what was the other one where you're I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's where you work for yourself and you determine your own projects and stuff. If you know what that career is, please drop it down in the chat, because you can also say you're that. And then he doesn't have to know anymore. I can't remember what it's called. It's not an entrepreneur. It's not a businesswoman. You can be a domestic engineer, and it's another thing that you can be. And it means that you decide your own projects and you pretty much work for yourself. It's not project management. Pedestal wife, do you remember when we had this conversation before? We talked about the different careers that you can say that you're doing, so a man won't really ask more or talk more about it. Freelancer. There you go. You can be a freelancer. You can be a domestic engineer. You can be a homemaker. You have so many different options other than saying if you are an attorney, you don't have to say you're an attorney. You don't have to say you're an attorney. And if they ask you why you didn't come off saying you were an attorney, because you can even cry, use your emotions. But some people always take advantage of me when they realize I have that career, even though I'm just starting in it. It's not something I was very good at, but people just heard that term or heard me say I was an attorney and they wanted to take advantage of me. I didn't know if you were that type of person or not. And boom. Using your emotions to your advantage, using your emotions where they're working for you. And he's no longer focused on the fact that you didn't tell him you were an attorney in the beginning. Your reasoning is sound. How did you balance your time with the man before you had marriage and family? How did I balance him? Well, honestly, before there was rotational dating, I was rotational dating. So what I did, I was dating multiple men. And I always loved, if you follow me for a while, y'all know I got caught. So you want to do it better than I did it, okay? You want to make sure you rotational date where he doesn't find out about the other guys that you're dating. I was doing it in a small town, so I literally got caught. But of course, I didn't allow him to shame me or use that against me. Because if a man sees something of value They will try to use shame as a tactic to make you lower your value, to make you decide, oh, well, I'm caught now. Maybe I shouldn't rotational date, or maybe I should lower my requirements, my standards, because now I'm caught. I did not do that. When I got caught, I literally said, oh, I didn't know you knew him. How's he doing? And he couldn't shame me. I think he thought it would, but baby, I don't got no shame in my game. I'm a gold digger through and through. And so I spent time with him, but I also spent time with other men. I made sure that I wasn't looking or dating with the idea of love either. I had did that before. I've told you all the story about how I did it before, and I got my heart broken. I got my heart torn in a million pieces. And then I just started listening to the women in my family. The women in my family have always promoted resources and not love. But I didn't listen to them, got my little heart broken, all little pieces. And then I decided, let me go ahead and do it their way, because we have marriage in our family. We have generations and generations of marriage. And not only that, we have generations of generations where something is passed down of value to the women. And I ignored that entire legacy and decided to go forth with love. And I learned a very good lesson. But I rotational dated. I spent time with him. I spent time with other men. And I was dating for values, morals, character, and resources. All right, so let me go ahead and answer the last little bit of questions. I'm gonna get off here because we're getting late here. I don't think it will lessen your value having a child. Just carry yourself well. And when you talk about being a single mom, don't tell it in a negative way. Always be positive about being a mom. Absolutely. I really would love. I want women, even if you have a child, I still want you to actually look at yourself as a valuable resource. You have to realize there's always going to be supply and demand for women. So you should not look at it or have a stigma associated with having a child. Instead of looking at it as a bad thing, start convincing your mindset, your mind, your mental, that it's a great thing to have a child, and then start dating for resources, character, values, and morals, and do it differently this time around. If you convince yourself that you can only get the least of men because you're a single mom, then you're going to get the least of men. And like I said, I will not lie to you. On this live stream, I will never lie to you. I will not say that the numbers are in your favor, because they are not. But what I will say, the reason why the numbers aren't in your favor is because a lot of women do not go beyond the statistics. They don't do anything about their mental. They don't do anything about the healing. They don't go on a self-discovery journey and heal yourself. They don't go into themselves and start figuring out, what do I need? What do I desire? And they don't do or participate in the love war. They don't. And that's just being on facts. That is the reason why the numbers are against you. But just because the numbers are against you, baby, there's an exception born every day. There's an exception born every day. There is some young woman that just because she had a child, that will not stop her from getting and obtaining the desires of her heart. And you need to have that same mentality. Don't allow having a kid. Stop thinking of it as a negative and start thinking of it as a positive, and start doing the work so that you can obtain the things that you want. That is the thing. And I can tell you this also just by dealing with other women. That is usually their downfall. That is the reason why they can't be the exception, because they don't want to change their mentality or change the way they date or even participate in the level up. The level up has been around a long time. And how about some women are still sitting in the same space? They haven't even decided to start working on themselves and their physicality and the mentality in order to level up to get the best in life in the first place. So that is how you're going to become the exception. You want to become the exception if you have a child? Go out here and truly level up. Not just mentally, do it physically too. If he has the resources and older than you, how do you show up and not needy or desperate if you are feminine and desiring marriage? Rotational dating will save the day. Because if you're dating out with Tom, you ain't gonna be worried about Dick. You're not. You're gonna be so focused on Tom. And if you're out with Tom, you ain't gonna be worried about Dick because you might have another date with Henry. See, Tom, Dick, and Harry is gonna save y'all. Tom, Dick, and Harry and rotational dating will help you and get your mind off of one man so that you can date. And you can date well. And you're not going to be so focused on him and if he's going to call you, if he's going to text you, if he's going to send you a gift, or what is he going to do for me next? Not if you're concerned or you're dating Tom, Dick, and Harry. Rotational dating. Thank you, Brill. You're welcome. Thank you. I will use that. I want the best. I want the best. I want you all to have the best. I want you all to realize that you can be the exception. Don't listen to the person, these men out here trying to shame you. Just because they have numbers on their side. I can tell you from working with women, the reason they have the numbers on their side is because a lot of women do carry that stigma. They do carry that weight that if they have children, that they don't deserve anything else, or that another man will not come in their lives and be a stepfather or wife them up. And since they have that mentality, you only are able to attract what you really believe you can get. You're only going to be able to attract what you really believe that you can desire. So if you truly believe that because I have a child, I don't deserve anything else, or I can't get anything else, I don't have any options, baby, you don't have any options. Okay, as a man thinketh, he has. And that is what you need to take upon yourself. You need to change your mentality. That is what I am seeing. I am seeing women who have all of the things, all of the beauty, all of the things that will make a great and wonderful wife, but their mentality is where it's their downfall every single time. It's the mentality. It's the mentality. And we've been talking about leveling up for so long, but you would be surprised where so many women aren't even taking that advice. That's the reason why I might not be entertaining, but I do give information. And one of the reasons why sometimes I'm not entertaining, because I want information. I want you to hear the information I have to give first and foremost before I want to be entertaining and have you kikiing and laughing on my live stream. Because this is a serious matter. We can no longer operate in this manner. This is great today, as always. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Yes, it's all in the mindset. I was so focused on the looks, but that cannot be the main thing anymore. It can't be the main thing. I know plenty of beautiful women who are on the arms of poor men. I know plenty of beautiful women who are on the arms of poor men and lack resources and live in poverty. So it's not just your beauty. It's not just your beauty. It's not your beauty. It's not your booty. It's your mentality also. All of these things come into play to help make sure that you can be the exception. All right, so I don't see anything else in the live stream. I know I'm like a minute behind, but it is past my lunchtime. So I am getting ready to get off here. But also, let me go ahead and make sure a reminder, 50% is going on my website. So if there's any courses, you can get 50% off on those now. I will be bringing back coaching in January. I'm going to have a sale running specifically for coaching, and because it will be done differently in the new year. But 2022 can be your year. It is time to level up now, not later. It is time to make the changes now, not later. If it's time to work on your mentality, your beauty, and your booty. Work on all of those things in order to get the desires of your heart so that you can be the exception of the rule. This is the reason why some women are never will be. Some will never be the exception just because of the way their mentality is set up. And I will see you all on tomorrow. Y'all have a great one. Bye.